AG fans, GojiFan93 here, and today I have just gotten finished watching the first episode of Skull Island. Yes, it's been a little bit, and I know that the show's been out for quite a while now, but of course, as you guys know, just got married, came back from a honeymoon, a lot of stuff going on. I was barely able to squeeze out that review for the Godzilla Minus One trailer, so that got out there, which I was happy about. But now it is time to get to this series that I've been wanting to get to for a while, but I have also been wanting to wait because, as you can tell, I'm here with a few people. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, let's start. We have Godzilla Reader.
Hola.
And we have GojiRex28.
Hello.
And we have Neos Gamer.
What's good, Peeps?
And GojiFan2001. And okay. So he might be away. In today,
I'm here.
oh, there we go. Yes, okay. He's here now. No worries. So today we're going to be reviewing episode 1 of Skull Island. So we just got finished watching it. Now myself, Godzilla Raider, and GojiRex28 have not seen it yet, or like this was the first time we've seen it. But Neos Gamer and GojiFan2001 they have already seen it. So they had to kind of keep quiet, and they were probably laughing at us while we were asking questions like, hey, what about this? What about this? So, but we're just going to go over our thoughts and basically reactions and just go over episode 1. So first off, I'll say that I guess going into the show, I, was a little hesitant because I'm not a big fan of the cartoons that come out of these kaiju franchises. I've been I've been known to not like the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla stuff. I've been known to not like the Godzilla 1998 series show. And Godzilla Singular Point was fun, but it was very confusing, and I don't really care to watch it again. So, the cartoons have been very hit and miss when it comes to Godzilla stuff or even just kaiju, material in general. So when heard about the Skull Island stuff coming out, I was a little bit skeptical of it. But Skull Island, the movie, Kong Skull Island is, like, in my opinion, the best film out of the Monsterverse by far. I don't know about you guys. Like, what do you guys, the King Kong Skull Island, like, you guys love that one? That's probably one of the best.
I would say Skull Island, Kong Skull Island, and 2014 are like the highlights of the Monsterverse. The Kong Skull Island is just a crazy fun movie from beginning to end, with like all the human interactions with, like, especially with like Samuel L. Jackson's character interacting with John Goodman's character.
Yeah.
I thought this is just a all fun movie with just fun action, fun crazy stuff. It was a good movie.
No, it was just, I was gonna say, at least to me, I mean, Kong Skull Island, yeah, I do. It is a good movie.
Yeah.
Although just being me, I do have a little preference with what came next, but that's just me. But other than that, yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Honestly, I think I'd say it was pretty good. Like, for me, I'd say it was definitely one of the best movies within the Monsterverse. Though, to be fair, this is also coming from a guy who probably liked Godzilla versus Kong just a little bit more, but at the same time, with everything that happened in Kong Skull Island, I actually did really like everything that happened with that.
Yeah.
Especially once you get into everything behind Kong's backstory.
Yeah.
I think it was good. I would say I definitely liked it better than Peter Jackson's King Kong, to be honest.
Wow.
Because
Okay.
it's not as like really long like that film.
Okay. Yeah. So Kong Skull for the movie was spectacular. So again, having a cartoon based in it was, a little iffy, especially because I know that the Monsterverse wants to keep on expanding and, doing all of its franchising like MCU is doing. And I'm just, you guys know my stance on it. I'm very nervous about how the Monsterverse is being handled. But in terms of the show, just on its own, let's not, we won't count the whole Monsterverse yet, because especially in this first episode, it's literally a pilot. They barely say anything. Just sets up the characters and we sort of get to see, I guess, the tone and like where it's probably going to go. But I'm interested for sure. I would say that the pilot, it definitely caught my interest in it. So I am excited to see the rest of the series. And in terms of the animation is actually really good. I was a little skeptical seeing the trailers and stuff because I thought it looked a little bit too much like the 1998 series, but which I was not a fan of how it looks. But this one, I forgot who said it here, but someone said it has like a similar style to like the Airbender series.
Yeah.
I did. Okay, yeah. So I agree with that, and I like that. It's sort of a mix of American style cartoon with anime style, so I like that. And yeah, so like, what do you guys think about the characters? Like or not the characters, the animation overall.
I actually did like the animation. It could be choppy at some times, but I think that's due to like a little budgeting or something like that.
I think that's where the anime style comes in. Like it does have that choppiness, but that's like sort of just what anime is. It has that choppiness. It's not like 100% smooth. Like you're not getting like 60 frames a second. You know, it's like definitely that 24 frames, you know, movie style, but it's like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did like the animation. The art style looks good. But yeah, I did like the animation, especially with like the Kraken scene. That I thought the animation was good. Yeah, it was good animation, decent animation at best.
Yeah, the animation is actually pretty surprisingly good. Now, yeah, there are moments where it's a bit iffy, a bit wonky, but it's pretty good. Yeah, the art style is also looks nice. Now, here's the thing: I would actually give this series props for actually using 2D animation. Now, this is just me, but I've been getting a bit sick and tired of seeing the 3D animation. Now, yes, Singular Point had the clever idea of having the kaiju be 3D and the human characters being 2D, which, again, clever, but seeing all of it just 2D, just to me, it looks way nicer.
Yeah, I agree. That's one thing that Singular Point looked good, but it also clashes with itself. You know, it's like you have these 2D elements that look really great, and then all of a sudden you have a 3D animated monster running in the background that's running at a smoother frame rate or whatever. It doesn't really mesh well all the time. So it is nice. Like if you're doing 2D, then just do 2D all the way, like that traditional style. But
Actually, I'd say the animation actually was pretty good. In some parts, it did kind of look just a little bit janky to me, but for the most part, I actually did kind of like it. And as for the art style, I know you guys said that it did kind of look a little bit like Avatar, but for some reason to me, it actually reminds me a little more of something like an old show called Huntic. I'm not really sure if it's that similar to it, but for some reason, it makes me think more of something like that when looking at it. Though I think the designs and how they handle all of that actually do look pretty good when all of it's in motion.
yeah.
But it does feel just a little bit choppy, but I guess that's something that was necessary that had to happen, considering it's a bit of a blending between Western art styles and Eastern ones, which does make this show work. But overall, I'd say they did pretty well with that for this first episode anyway.
I think the animation is not too bad. At first I was thinking it was going to be either 3D, but then when they decided to do 2D, I was like, you know what? It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's definitely not too bad.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's looking good. So I mean, lighting and the effects are great, and yeah, I agree that when the Kraken showed up, you know, that was really good. So I was a little bit bummed though they didn't like show the whole monster, but fine, I get it, whatever. You know, you're saving it, you know. Yeah, and then I guess music. I'm probably not a big part with this. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I could barely really. There wasn't any like actual like theme or motif playing in the background. It was really just your good old orchestral like, you know, calm music for ambience, and then you had your exciting bombastic parts. You know, there really wasn't anything you know, spectacular about the music so far, in my opinion. But I don't know, what about you guys? You guys can just kind of spitfire this one.
Honestly, I kind of feel the same on it.
I kind of don't.
There wasn't
really
really anything memorable about it.
I honestly didn't care about the music.
Yeah, it's just it's not like it's not that it's bad. It's just that it just was in the background. You know, there wasn't like this running motif or theme, which I think a lot of us fans, especially kaiju fans, are used to, because even with even in the King Kong films, there's always these running themes throughout the film that are played, and it's like these stingers and those melodies that get stuck in your head. But this one didn't really. Even the MonsterVerse films have those like all the time, so it's interesting with this one. But okay, so next we'll move on to the I guess just the plot. I mean, really, that's the only other thing to talk about. So of course, since it is episode 1, they're obviously not going to be explaining a lot. It's going to be prepping and getting you used to the characters in the universe, which even here, they started with, they're chasing this girl around, and I think she has something to do with Skull Island, of course. And like, just by the way that she's dressed too, like she has looks like a officer coat on or something, but under it looks like she is wearing like native clothing from the island. So I'm curious if, because she's on the boat, like she took an outfit, but this, like, her original outfit still is the native stuff. So she probably was, I don't know, kidnapped or something by these other people. I have no idea. But so, she seems interesting at first. Like, there's going to be, I feel like there's a lot of mystery around her so far. But then, so she escapes. Then she gets onto this boat, this is basically where we meet all of our main characters here. So we have, let's see, this was Charlie, right? That was his name.
Yep.
Yeah. So Charlie, which I'm assuming Charlie is definitely going to be the main hero for the whole thing. He just has main protagonist written all over his face. So which he wasn't bad. I mean, again, this is the first episode, so it's very hard to judge these characters right away because we have no idea the journey that they're going to go through and all that. So, but again, first impressions is everything, and I don't think he was that bad of a character. He was likable. He was. Yeah, I mean, he seems that he sort of has a what do I want to say, like a Disney princess mindset. I want something better. Yeah, I don't want to follow in tradition. I want my own life. I want to do something different.
Take a shot every time this conversation he has with his dad at like the beginning. A shot every time they mention college.
Yeah, okay. So that seemed to be a thing.
So you'll be at the hospital.
Which it was interesting how he was like, I want to go to college, but his dad was actually like, no, you don't have to go to college. Like, just be an adventurer, and then that's where all the people are remembered. I remember that when he said that anyone who went to college isn't remembered, and I'm just like, what is he talking about? Like, what? So his dad might not be the best character, like father of the year, that's for sure. But what was his dad's name? I don't remember his name.
I just think
he
his
called
name was
himself
just
Cap.
Cap. Okay, so he's just Cap. All right, so there's Cap. We meet a few more characters. This is, let me get a better image here, if I can. There we go. So this character, it wasn't his name Hero,
Yes.
yeah, Hero, and then this is his son Mikey. That was Mike. Okay, so Mike, yeah, just Mike, not Mikey.
Yeah, not Mikey from Teenage Mutant Turtles.
Oh yeah, no. There will be spoilers, by the way, in these reviews, so spoiler warning. This guy here, don't get attached. Yeah, and yeah, his son here, his son, to be honest, again, I feel heavy secondary, like, supporting cast off of this guy. We didn't really get to see a lot of him do much. I mean, he did try to fight off the Kraken, which we'll see later, but I mean, again, in terms of characterization, there's not really much going on with him, but maybe there will be later. So that's what I mean. It's really hard to talk about these characters right now. This guy's name is Boomer, so I thought he was going to be one of the main characters, but again, don't get attached to him. But I guess his character trait was he was deaf, and they sort of they were like kind of making not a joke about it, but it was like during the part where the guys jump on the boat and like he didn't hear them, so it was like, okay, I don't know, it just seemed kind of pointless that they made him deaf if they weren't going to do anything with that. So it's kind of a wasted character if you ask me, because we know that the Monsterverse has a very with what was her name in Godzilla vs Kong, the little girl.
Gia.
Yeah, Gia. Like, I mean, that's a fantastic way that, you know, you had a character who was deaf who like able to communicate with the monsters through sign language. Like, that's just such a cool thing that we don't see that often. Like, that's one thing I'll give the Monsterverse. Like, that kind of character we've never seen before. I thought that that was really cool. So I thought we were going to get something similar with this guy, but apparently not. So yeah. So we go through this, you know, there's just some more talking, and then the girl shows up. Charlie saves her, and we find out that this girl, her name was Annie. And again, we don't really know much about her in this one, but of course she's like shocked and freaked out about being on the boat, and you know, she's trying to figure out what's going on. And she, yeah, like apparently the guys that she was either kidnapped by are some bad guys or whatever. There was a part of me that thought that they might be part of the Apex organization, just because it's like maybe this is a way that they can flush out that company before it gets introduced in Godzilla vs Kong, but it doesn't look like it. I don't think these guys really are Apex, so they could.
They're just your generic bad guy.
Yeah, they could just be pirates or something like that. Yeah. So they set a flare, and basically they try and get on the ship and try to take the girl back, because apparently this girl knows more. Again, we don't really get to know much about this. So they end up storming the boat, and a big fight ensues. This scene I thought was hilarious, because the guy pulls out a knife in a room with 5 people, and I'm sitting there going like,
Dumbest
What?
in the whole episode.
like, why didn't you bring a gun, man? Like, what are you doing? So anyways, but apparently everyone is scared of knives, so they don't even try to defend themselves. They're just like, what? So that, I thought that was really funny.
My one weakness is small knives.
Oh yeah.
I mean, do they even know how to fight? That's the question.
Yeah. Well, see, because it's weird, because then in the next scene we have this guy who gets behind Boomer, and he has a gun. So I just think it's weird. It's like, where, I don't know. So this is where we get introduced to the next enemy. I guess the first monster that's introduced here. So it's like a squid type monster, octopus like thing, and we don't get to see it all, but there is a scene that when it does attack, and by the way, when it does attack, it attacks, like it kills basically like the whole crew except for Mike, Charlie, and his dad, and Annie. But like his Mike's dad gets killed, gets splat, just he's done. Which again came out of nowhere. Like I didn't expect his death to happen so quick. So that was kind of a cool thing. And then they get attacked by the thing. It destroys the boat, and they get thrown into the ocean, and then they land on a mysterious island. And I just don't know what the island would be called, guys. Like, what do you think? What island do you think they're on? I have no idea.
Monkey Island.
Monkey Island, yeah, that's what we'll call it. So,
A random island.
one thing I'll get is that the last scene, by the way, is when they're on the island and Mike is, you know, he's looking at Charlie and he's like starts crying. Like, that's actually a powerful scene. I like that part. So that was kind of cool. So again, hopefully we'll see more of Mike like as a character doing more stuff. And I actually don't think that they got separated from Annie and Charlie's dad. So we'll have to see what happens with that. So, and that's it. They end on the picture of Kong's imprint on the sand. And well, I'm assuming it's Kong. I mean, I don't think there's any other Kongs on this island unless they're going to do that route. But I doubt it. So although I know that Neos and GojiFan93 are probably looking to going, you know, they know the answer, but so yeah, but that was episode 1, guys. So again, it's a good first episode, not too bad, and I am hooked. I'm interested to see how the rest of the series will play out. I think there's 8 episodes in total, so we'll do 8 reviews, and then hopefully these guys will be able to be in the review as well. Yeah, so that is it, guys. Any other final thoughts? Let's start with you, Godzilla Reader. Final thoughts on episode 1?
I think it was a pretty good start. Definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, it wasn't really anything all that big, but I thought the start was pretty good. I'm actually looking forward to see what happened next. Yeah, just the one thing. Now, I could be wrong, but I think the Kraken might just be a Titan that.
I mean, that would make sense.
I think was relevant in King of the Monsters, but I have no idea unless it's like a different because in Godzilla vs Kong, we do see that species between one particular kaiju is a thing.
I would say the two dumbest scenes that I've seen from this first episode would be the 5 people looking at one guy with a knife, which all they could have just done is one of them could have grabbed the person's arm and detached the knife, and everyone just charges at the dude. But no, none of them do that. And the scene where Mike gets shocked by a freaking tentacle, and I'm like, how the hell do you survive that?
Yeah.
You must have like 3rd-degree burn by now. With that type of shock, you will probably be knocked out and you'll probably drown to death in the middle of the ocean.
Right. Yeah.
But hey, that's plot armor, I guess.
It's a lot of plot armor in this one too.
Overall, I would say it's a decent episode to start off, but we'll see what happens later down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 2, 3, 4, and continues on.
I would say this was probably a pretty decent way for them to introduce the characters and pretty much introduce the world of this series. But I don't know how I feel about the main character about this show, because he was kind of all right, but there were like moments in this episode that just made me think this guy was a freaking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, I'm not spoiling anything, but later in the series, it only gets worse for me for this character.
Okay.
This character annoys the ever living crap out of me later.
Oh boy.
I actually do. But other than that, I'd say everything else in this episode is pretty good. It's just Charlie's. That's the one thing I'm like, yeah, I don't know about you, boy. I don't know.
All right.
Well, for the first episode, I could definitely say it's decent for what it is. I mean, for a first star of a series. So all I can say is it's decent.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, yeah, that'll do it for my review. I guess our review of episode 1. So again, I don't know when I'll be able to get the other episodes out. I'm going to try to do it as quick as I can so I can get this series wrapped up. But yeah, that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, stay big, G fans.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios.
See you around.